So I've got two types of bait today. One is a pile worm, natural, live, fresh pile worm. Another is an artificial Berkley Gulp sandworm, made to mimic a pile worm. I'm curious what you think is going to do better. This is a competition between the baits. Who's going to catch more fish today? So I want you, if you think the pile worm live bait is going to do better, give this video a thumbs up right now. And if you think the artificial is going to do better, just to get a tally, give this video a thumbs down right now. I don't know how this is going to affect the channel. I don't know how this is going to affect the video, but I just want to get an idea of what you think before the video starts. What's going to perform better and catch more fish, real or fake? So right now, if you think the live pile worms are going to do better, give the video a thumbs up right now. If you think the artificial Berkley Gulp sandworm are going to do better, give the video a thumbs down right now. Let's compare the two and see who has more votes at the beginning and see who wins at the end. I really don't know which is going to do better, but if I had to cast my vote, I would do it for the live bait. So I'm going to be starting off with the pile worm on the bottom. And if you've never handled a pile worm before, you know that on the bottom or on the front of their mouth, they've got these little pinchers. You can see how sharp those things are. If they got you, I mean, they're not going to do any serious damage, but I mean, I'd like to avoid getting pinched by a little weird creature if I can help it. So what I always like to do before I start baiting them is just cut the pinchers off. Just like that. Now, he can't pinch me. I'm going to bait the pile worm as if I was just threading a worm on, except I'm going to put it through its body and then put it back through. And that way it'll give the worm a couple areas to hold, so it won't be as likely to slip off. Just gonna move it all the way up onto the line a little bit. So there's the presentation of the real pile worm. And now with the artificial, I'm going to do it in a very similar way. Just put it straight through as if I was doing the real one. And this one, I don't have to go in and out through the body. I can just go straight through, just thread it on there, all the way up onto the hook as if it was a lure, and just put it out there so it dangles off a little bit. So I've got my Berkley Gulp sandworm right there and my real live pile worm right there. All right, so before we get started fishing, I just want to give you one quick lesson on how to read the beach. So over here, I don't know if you can tell, but the waves are crashing and you can see little waves on top all the way from in the surf all the way to shore. Little waves, that means that it's probably shallow. And you can see that they're breaking far away, which means there's probably a sandbar out there, and all the force from the water and the waves are coming, they're hitting the sandbar, crashing over, and the little waves are forming and rolling in towards shore. Now on this side, the waves are crashing out far, but there's no small waves that are rolling in towards shore. So that means there might be a sandbar out there. The force of the waves hits it, forms a wave, and if it's shallow, the little waves would continue. But if there's a hole there, if it's deeper, it'll form a wave, crash over, and then just smooth out. And that's exactly what it's doing over there. So that's where I'm first going to concentrate on, where I know that it's deeper, because fish like cover. And a lot of people will say, if you find a hole, fish aren't necessarily in the middle of the hole. They'll be right on the edge where the shallow part and the deeper part meet, because that's where a lot of sand crabs, that's where a lot of bait and things get washed up. So you can, personally, I like the middle of the hole. So I'm gonna start there, work my way on both sides, and then work my way on this entire beach and see what bites, see where the fish are at. Sometimes they'll be in the hole, sometimes they'll be in the shallow area. So I don't know, we'll see. So it's 7:35 right now. So I'm gonna set my timer for, let's say 8:05. So I just set my timer to 8:05. We're gonna do half an hour with the real bait on the bottom, Berkley Gulp on top. A lot of people use the Carolina rig when they fish for perch, but I wanted to give a two bait combo and see which one is gonna do better. So it looks like the current is pretty strong, it's pulling it to the left, and this weight might be too light. So I've got a triangle weight in my pocket, I might have to switch that up. You can see first cast, the real pile worm came down on the hook a little bit. Berkley Gulp still in the original position. I'm going to switch it out to a 4-ounce weight. Another thing, never turn your back on the ocean. especially when you're distracted, getting new baits and stuff. All right, this should hold a lot better. And if this fails, I might have to find myself a more calm beach. We'll see. One thing about perch is if you do catch one, perch likes to school together. So if you catch one, I can guarantee there's going to be more around. All right, time to move spots. I'd rather go to a place where I have more chance. So sometimes you come out to the beach, it's not working in your favor. If you got plan B, just go there. So I just had to switch it up. It was just too rough at that first spot. I've still got the original Berkley Gulp sandworm, but the original pile worm I had is just too beat up. So I'm gonna take that off, feed it to the birds, bait on a new one. So you can get Berkley Gulp sandworms for $5.99 per pack. And as you can tell, they last a long time. This one looks fresh, brand new. Maybe the scent is gone a little bit, but other than that, it's okay. These pile worms are $9 a dozen, so they can get up there. All right, this spot doesn't look too bad. Give it a shot. The only hard thing about this place is that it might be a little difficult to land the fish, especially because all these rocks are wet down there. You can see a little green slime on them. If you see anything green on a rock, you know that that thing is slippery. There's a bite. That was a bite. Yeah, I got a fish on here, little fish, little perch. All right, first bite of the day. Let's see which bait he bit on. A little baby red tail, and he bit on the Berkley Gulp sandworm. Probably the smallest red tail perch I ever caught. These need to be 10.5 inches, by the way. All right, let's go. And look, the Berkley Gulp barely looks like it got hooked at all. You know, besides Berkley Gulp sandworms and these pile worms, one go-to that almost never fails for perch is shrimp. Frozen shrimp, fresh shrimp, cut it up in small pieces on a size 4 hook. What is this here? It's a perch and it's on the pile worm. This is a barred surf perch. Got it on the pile worm. Well, it's 1-to-1. And what do you know? The pile worm's still good to go for another round. Got another one. Ah, it came off. I think he bit on the pile worm though, not sure. Actually, he probably bit on the sandworm. The tail is missing. Just missed it. And I'm just gonna put this little Berkley Gulp sandworm back in the bag because there's some scent in here and it should just soak it up. I think I got a little one on here. Yeah, there's a baby on here. On the Berkley Gulp. Another barred surf perch. That's 2 on the Berkley Gulp. And I got 2 barred surf perch so far, 1 red tail. But they're really small right now. Maybe I'm a little late in the season. Maybe these are the offspring from earlier. But three fish so far. I'll toss this back right now before he dies and try to catch another. Sandworm still looks perfect. Shoot, if I fish all day with this one sandworm, I'm probably never gonna buy pile worms again. Looks like my pick from the start isn't doing too well. All right, so I'm gonna cast a little closer to that rock right now and hope that the fish are there. I'm at my last spot for the day. This pile worm is still good. It's not dried out yet, so I'm just gonna leave it. And of course, Berkley Gulp sandworm still looking good too. Time to put a new pile worm on. This one's looking pretty bad. Yeah.
You just came and then you find her.
I know, so
What is that?
so fast on. It's a perch.
Huh?
A perch.
Oh, how many did you get now?
Really interesting. I just rebaited on a fresh pile worm, but he still took the Berkley Gulp. Well, put another one on the board. Looks fresh too. Huh. There's a little one. Only little guys out here. But I guess it's a good example of what they're biting on. This was the pile worm. You know, I've got these things here, these little bait buttons. I might as well use it. Try to keep this pile worm on longer. Just put it through here like that. But there, that should keep it from sliding back. Pile worm not looking too good. Again, sandworm. I think this one's seen its day. Change them both. So each pack comes with 24, and you get each pack for $5.99. Pile worms, $9 for a dozen. Looks pregnant, but pile worm. Well, I don't know where all the fish went. Caught about 6 or 7 today, I think. So I think that's enough to decide who the winner is. Pile worm or sandworm? Drum roll, please. I feel like with all things considered, it's the sandworm. You got to take into consideration the cost, which is 24 count for $6 rather than 12 for $9. You know, you don't have to deal with some stinky worms all day. You don't have to get your hands dirty and smelly. Also durability, these will stay on the line a lot longer. They won't die on you either, like the pile worms. And when you're done with them, you can take them home, put them back in the bag. They'll reabsorb all that scent and come out and fish with them next time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to you for subscribing. Thank you for all the views, the comments, and the shares. Really appreciate it. So, until next time.